Hello everyone out there in the YouTube universe. I'm Carson Cunningham and welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you've seen my previous unboxing video, I unraveled every single video cassette from Disney's Winnie the Pooh. And as I mentioned before, that I would do a 5-part mini-series going over each and every video in these collections right here. Of course, I just want you to know that this will be a 6-part mini-series. The first part was the unboxing that you just seen before. However, the later 5 parts will be going over 5 different collections. These are include, and not just in a chronological order, and not a random order, just the order that goes over the history of the franchise itself. Storybook classics, the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the Playtime series, the Learning series, and the Friendship series. As we go along, I'll be discussing my history of these videos, the ones that I own, the ones that I don't, and I'll be spreading some interesting facts about each and every one of these as we go along. And with that introduction out of the way, let's get right to it. Starting with first, let's start off by looking at the first featurette that started it all, Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree. This was released on February 4th, 1966, along with the live-action movie, The Ugly Dachshund. And what a great way to start off it was. The idea of this featurette came about from Walt Disney. When he bought the film rights to the original 2 A.A. Milne books in 1961, his original plan was to adapt the first 2 books as a feature-length movie when production began in 1964. But he decided to take a pass on that and decided to release it as a featurette by adapting the first 2 chapters from the first book, Winnie the Pooh, which will later become this. Here's the front. And here's the sides. Here's the top. And the back. And it says right here, presenting Winnie the Pooh Storybook Classics, the beloved A.A. Milne adaptations first seen in theaters. Your entire family will cherish the magical collection of Disney animated storytelling at its finest. And I would definitely agree with that statement. It says right here, Pooh gets into a jam when he climbs to the top of a honey tree and meets a swarm of bees who disapprove of his behavior. Or behavior, right? Now it's up to his 100-acre pals to save their sweet tooth friend. As you can see right here, it has a list of the other storybook classics we'll be looking over soon. It has a running time of 25 minutes, and it's rated G. Of course, the rating system wouldn't be a thing until 1968, in case you already know how. Of course, you already know the history of motion pictures are, the history of it and its rating system. Well, anyway. Now, let's move on to Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. Of course, I also have a history of this, along with this. You see, when I was growing up at a young age, I mean a very, very young age, I mean early toddler years, these were the first 2 videos I ever owned. Until one day, for some unseen circumstances, I accidentally broke the first one. And as a result of this, I never gotten a replacement copy ever since, leaving me with the second one, and it was the only copy that I ever owned growing up, and I watched it time and time again. This featurette was released on December 20th, 1968, alongside another live-action movie, The Horse in the Gray Flannel Suit. However, the Honey Tree featurette would be the first and only featurette that Walt Disney himself would ever work on, as he would sadly pass away in December of 1966. And The Blustery Day would be the final production that he had any involvement with, along with some other movies that he began improving, such as his own version of The Jungle Book, The Happiest Millionaire, and Blackbeard's Ghost. The featurette would later become so popular in fact that it would win an Academy Award at the 1969 Oscars. And rightfully so, because it definitely deserves it. So, we now have the front, the sides, the top, and the back. I will say that's a really good image right there. It says right here, on a Wednesday in the 100-acre wood, a strong breeze has blown Pooh in a fur-raising adventure involving Bouncy Tigger, a spooky dream, and a timid piglet who performs a noble deed worth celebrating. Alright, now we move on to Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. And now I'm going to start by getting this out of the way. I never once owned this video growing up, and it's quite very unfortunate for me to say because I never had a history with this video. Except I have another copy of this video in another Disney-themed video collection, but that's a story for another time. This featurette was released on December 20th, 1974 as a double feature alongside another live-action movie, The Island at the Top of the World. Now we have a front, the sides, and the back. And it says right here, the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is that Tiggers are wonderful things. Since Tigger's bouncing, trouncing, and flouncing is driving Pooh and everyone in 100-acre wood crazy. And that's about it. One of the most important things about these featurettes, these three right here, are the directors. And they were directed by one of Walt Disney's iconic 9 old men. The first two featurettes, The Honey Tree and The Blustery Day, were directed by Wolfgang Reitherman, while the third one was directed by John Lansbury. And for those who have never heard the story before, on March 11th, 1977, all of the original featurettes would later be combined into one big movie called The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and making this as Walt Disney's 22nd animated movie. And I will say that was great timing on their part right there. And you can probably say this was one of Walt Disney's plan the entire time, making this the exact dream that he accomplished, or wanted to accomplish. Of course, I haven't shown you the VHSs yet. This is supposed to be the main part of the video anyway, so here's the ink label, and here's the print date. It says it's been printed on November 3rd, 1994. And now we take a look at The Blustery Day. Printed on November 1st, 1994. Sorry about that, I paused there for a moment there. Alright, now we move on to Tigger 2. And the print date for this is December 2nd, 1994. I really do apologize for not showing the tapes last one, showing the titles and the entire case in general. I guess that's the whole point of doing videos like this. Of course, I learned that from other YouTubers, like as Ryan Boyd goes, a shout out goes to you, my man. And also Isaiah Smith. Shout out to you, dude. Definitely check out those guys if you're able. I might provide a link in the description below for your convenience. Last but not least, we'll be looking at the final featurette in this collection, Winnie the Pooh and a Day for Eeyore. Now, of course, I do have another piece of history with this. I have seen this featurette itself, but only in promotions of the Storybook Classics line. But I never seen the actual featurette itself. Sorry. It is until I got The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh celebrating 25 years on VHS, which includes this featurette, sandwiched in alongside a music video of Carly Simon singing the Winnie the Pooh theme and a behind-the-scenes look of the movie itself. However, I did receive a video of the featurette itself for the first time ever as a standalone. And it was all thanks to the person who gave me this, and she will remain anonymous. Of course, I won't mention who it is, but you know who you are, and I just want to say to you, thank you. Now, here's the front. And here are the sides. And the top and the back. And it says right here, Eeyore is especially sad. Pooh Bear, Piglet, Rabbit, Owl, and the rest of the 100-acre wood managed to do their best to cheer up their downhearted pal. Sorry, I was having trouble finding out what this word is. As I mentioned before, I'm not a very good reader, so let's just leave it at that. Here's the VHS itself. And here's the print date right here. And it says it's from July 25th or 28th. Maybe I'll look it up. Anyway, it says July 25th, 1994. What's interesting about this featurette right here is the director. And this featurette was directed by Rick Reinhardt. And it was released on March 25th, 1983, alongside with a re-release of The Sword in the Stone. Fun fact, Mr. Reinhardt did not only directed this, but also directed the educational film Winnie the Pooh Discovers the Seasons in 1981, as well as the intros of the after-school and weekend specials on ABC. He also produced the Captain O.G. Remore specials for the aforementioned ABC weekend specials. Another animation veteran who worked on this featurette also includes Virgil Ross, whose animation work goes all the way back to the early 1930s, working alongside with another Walt, namely Walter Lantz, producing cartoons for Universal Pictures, and then he would move on to Warner Brothers as he worked on several Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons, alongside with other directors such as Tex Avery, Bob Clampett, Friz Freleng, and Chuck Jones. And he would later move on to television, working on more cartoons for Hanna-Barbera Productions, the Patty Freleng Enterprises, and Filmation. That's a little something that you never heard before, have you? And with that said, that concludes the original featurettes from the Storybook Classics line. And I really hope you enjoyed it. Next time, we'll be looking over the new adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And this concludes part 2 of my unboxing of my Winnie the Pooh VHS collection. I'll see you then.